All right, we're live.
Okay.
Apparently, a premium account is on X is required now for some reason. So I'm just seeing that for the first time. So we won't bother with that. But yeah. So today, what we're doing here is we have. Oh shoot! I forgot to share my screen. I'll get that started. This is my third stream today, so I'm a little uh,
Shaky.
shaky. Yeah, share screen.
It's just like too much caffeine, too much
Too
screen
much
time.
window. This one, you're gonna get the infinite scroll thing for a minute here.
That's not scroll.
Not
That
infinite
would
scroll.
be
That was brain connection. What? Okay, so I have to rearrange these so I can see both what's happening on screen and off. All right. Today we're going to. I just wanted to get both of you on the same show. We're going to be talking about creating proposals on Dash and how to do that within a web app. So we're gonna first look at what use case I'm trying to achieve here, and we're gonna do that by looking at these two websites that currently exist and allow you to create Dash proposals on the network. But what they don't do is they don't just do it in one step. Basically it gives you commands that you could then paste into your Dash core node, assuming that you had one of those. But what we want to do is we want to give users the ability to create proposals directly from a web app without doing anything in core. But to test that whole process, I want to spin up a reg test network. AJ, you know how to do that. You've done that. Niles, you have not done that. That's why I want you on the stream here. And then, depending on how difficult this may be, in the best case scenario, we could knock it out in this stream. In the worst case scenario, it might take some more time, and then I would like you, Niles, to kind of tackle that if it proves to be something that's going to take more time.
sure.
I think that
Wait,
it's going to be
what are we getting done? What's the best case scenario again?
the best case scenario is that we get it all done in this stream. It's obviously not realistic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's not realistic.
we're mostly identifying the scope of work here in this stream.
Okay.
But I just happen to know that you, AJ, have been doing some work on the Dash RPC, the Dash RPC.js, and so you are able to do RPC commands from a JavaScript library.
Yes.
That assumes that the node that it's talking to a node, a full node that's running and doing.
Yeah, so it's actually I think a little bit better than what you get with say Dash Insight. Cuz
Okay.
you don't it you get no filter, right? And it turns out that the Dash Insight is kind of quite a bit overkill in some cases because the Dash RPC is already HTTP. You just need to. It doesn't have a permission layer, so you can't say here's public ones, here's private ones. You have to manage that in the web app. But RPC calls actually are HTTP calls, and they're actually not complicated. It turns out. Didn't know that for until like last week.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. But that's what the library is doing for you already. Um,
Yeah.
so anyway, we're gonna kind of figure this out. I want to take us through this process just on test. We're gonna do the testnet version here. So if I had a proposal, you can see all my incubator proposals come up because I've done this process a lot of times, obviously. Test proposal, test proposal. Um, and let's just say that this
Could you
is
command plus your screen a few times? Because I've got
yes,
like
yes, yes.
Windows inside of Windows inside of Windows because of StreamYard, and I can't. There we
Yeah.
go.
Is it better now? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know how to get it even better, but yes, that works.
HTTP. Let's just start with this, and then if you wanted to submit your proposal on, or not submit, but author your proposal body on Dash Central, this is what you would do. Why is that not? Okay, there we go. Selecting, and they kind of want you to, or at least it's the default to just give it the same name, test proposal.
That'd be hyphenated, by the way.
It would be hyphen. Okay, so I left this as a space to see what would happen in the web app, just testing that by just for fun. Let's do this as the next payment, and you can do multiple payments, and we'll just.
By the way, you're doing that so quickly that it doesn't have time to update, so I didn't actually see what you did.
Okay.
But I'm assuming there was multiple payment dates and there was multiple payment options, but I didn't see it.
Oh yeah. Does it share on my screen?
I don't think so.
It doesn't share. Okay. That's just because of how StreamYard shares things. When I click this payment date thing field, I just clicked it. It gives you a drop down.
Okay, the drop down's not visible.
The drop down's not visible because of the screen share thing, but it is visible to a user. And then we would need a testnet address for this, and payment amount. Let's just say 100 dash. So create proposal, invalid payment address. Okay. Let's just go ahead and get that started. AJ.
Do you want me to grab a testnet address?
Yes. In fact, I'll just get one as well. I'll get one from the Insight Explorer. Let's see. Test.
Oh, I got one.
Oh, you got one already. Okay.
Yep.
So fast.
Wait, no, I lied. I thought I had one, but I don't. I thought I had one in the documentation for Dash HD, but that was actually something else that just started with a 7.
Testnet.
Those 7s always get you.
Dash Explorer.
Well, I thought it can start with a Y or a 7 or something like that. I saw the 7. I thought that was good.
No, it's gonna have like checksums and stuff anyway at the end.
All right, it's okay. I'm gonna try from the command line.
Yes.
Dash HD. I don't have it installed yet on this version of Node.
And I just found a testnet on Google, which isn't. Let me go to Discord and get the real testnet Explorer, because they're always, Google never figures out the right one. Testnet channel description, faucets. Okay. You guys still seeing my screen share, by the way?
I'm looking at
I see it.
Okay. So I'm just getting any old random address here. Oops. That's the next one I want to show. I don't know if it has testnet support though. And then create proposal. Invalid name. Good. I was hoping for that. Let's do test proposal with a hyphen. Okay. So now you see it gives you these wallet commands, which you can then put into your console of the Dash Core wallet. And then I'm also going to just open up the source code here so we can take a look at that. That
part's super easy because it's just hex encoding the JSON. So it's just using well, they're probably not using text encoder because this is probably 15 years old, but you just use text encoder and then loop over the bytes and spit them out as numbers.
Yep. So this is how this web app works. Obviously, this is source code, but I want to now go and actually spin up a testnet node. AJ, do you have one running, and can you do a screen share on
Let's
that?
see. Do I have testnet node running? I think I have a testnet node running. Give me
I
just
think
a
you do too.
second.
Yeah.
It would be
And
T-D1 maybe?
while you're
Let's
doing
see.
that, I'm going to show this same process on mnowatch.org/proposal-generator. It's basically going to do the same thing. So if you wanted to, let's test proposal. And then that's handy. It just fills that URL in for you. Do you see this drop down?
You will have to use an address from my testnet wallet. You will
Sure.
not be able to use an address from a
Yeah.
random address because of the way that this works. Although we could just try it and see, but I'm pretty sure it's going to give me an error. So go ahead and copy and paste that to me, and we'll see what happens.
Where does this proposal go when you create it?
We'll talk about that in a minute.
We don't know yet.
No, it goes over the peer-to-peer network. It's a transaction that goes over the peer-to-peer network.
Maybe.
Yeah. So, just a minute here. So you don't see the drop downs here either, but I'm just filling in the same kind of stuff. Let's get a real dash address because it's. Oh, lots of stuff going on in this testnet address.
Here's one that's in my test, or at least this is an address that I've been using on my testnet instance. I don't know if I've been using it or not.
Insight.dash.org.
Also, this is not the latest version. This is 20.1.
I think it's Insight. Okay, getting a mainnet dash address right now. Just any old dash address will do.
Okay, 20. Hopefully this will still be compatible.
Oops. And let's go with 10 dash here. And create proposal. So this does the same thing. It gives you a command string to copy and paste the below command into the console of the Dash Desktop Qt wallet to create the proposal. This will incur a charge of 1 dash. So you'd copy this command. And this G object, that stands for governance object. And the first step in this is to prepare the governance object. And this, I don't know if there's a link to the source. Let's see. Let's see if there's a link to the source code on this site somewhere. That's mnowatch.org/leaderboard. I think the source code's available for this, but yeah, they basically do the same thing. They encode some data in this hex string that is essentially this data. And then the other thing to pull up here and to show is here's the documentation on the G object, governance object, RPC. And it kind of tells you the same kind of stuff. So you can actually, there's lots of different things that you can do instead of prepare and submit, which is what I usually do, preparing and submit. But there's also count and deserialize and diff and git and all that stuff. So that's the documentation. We'll come back to that.
It would be interesting when we actually get to the submit phase to see what the browser is doing. Although in this case, I don't think the browser is actually doing any of the communication.
Okay, so now I'm talking to you guys again. So AJ, what did you find out about the testnet network? Do you have one of those, a node and a network available? Not a network, but do you have a node on the network available?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to? Can you do a screen share now?
Sure.
So just click the present button at the bottom
Yeah,
of
let me
StreamYard.
flippy floppy this for a minute. Where'd that go?
So I don't know if I finished up my thought, but my thought was to continue that is that I want to be able to have I want to have a library that does all of this for you so that you don't have to paste RPC commands into your Dash node. You can just do it all from the browser. And
Okay.
you'd obviously it
So-
would like present a QR code for you to pay for the proposal fee, which is 1 Dash. And
What is it
That would be
that what is it that people are running? Like, how much of like the Dash node that you're running on your local machine? Like, what exactly is needed to get that? Like, you want to put it in the browser. How much do you actually need of that to be running in the browser in order to get the functionality you're looking for?
well, we wouldn't be running a node in the browser, but we would have a library that calls a server that does this for you.
Yeah, so basically it's less than a kilobyte of data that includes sometimes it depends on what the object is shaped like, but it's less than a kilobyte of data, and the data is going to be formatted with a signature and may or may not include arbitrary text. It seems like generally speaking, you just publish a hash. So I would be surprised if the governance object itself goes onto the blockchain. Or I'm imagining what happens is that the
It does.
governance object gets submitted to the website, the proposal website, and then the hash of the object is submitted to the blockchain, is my guess.
There is something that gets submitted to the op return. Like I've
Yeah, that
noticed.
can only be like 120 bytes or something like that. That's why I know that JSON object will not fit.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the hash of the object. But
Right.
I was looking into it a little bit yesterday, and I think that there are some big Indian, little Indian things to because it looked like it was backwards.
Yeah, and that's just normal. TXIDs are given in both formats depending on whether you're looking at an Explorer or whether you're looking at it from the RPC or whether you're actually constructing the object as binary. But that's a trivial issue.
Okay, so you've
That's
got your
non-issue.
screen share is up. Just you don't want to do an actual different screen share. You're just gonna share your screen to the side of your face. Got it.
Oh, do you want me to do it the other way?
It doesn't matter. Either way works.
Okay.
It might be better for the viewers if you did a present.
Okay. Let me
a separate screen, but
try
either way works.
entire screen. Is he gonna let me do this? Okay, I gotta
now
move this off. Okay,
this is the size. It's something that we can all see still. So this is worst case scenario.
Okay, did that work?
No, I just rearranged. Here, let me add your other screen share to the stage now.
Okay.
So this is how it would look alternatively.
Okay, so if you give me that object, I'm interested to copy and paste it. I'm expecting that what's going to give me an error is something like private key not found in wallet. But if you
which one now? The testnet one?
The one that you just did, just copy and paste that proposal to me.
Okay.
Or that gobjects prepare, is that's what it is, a gobject prepare?
Yep. Let's see. So I think I will just put it into the private chat in Discord or in StreamYard here. Does that work?
Yeah. Okay. Copied. And then I'm going to run -CLI gobject prepare, not connected to the server. Make sure the server is running. Oh, I probably need to specify like -- testnet or something.
Okay,
No
now
wallet is loaded. There we go. So
tell
yeah.
us what you're doing here.
Okay, so I just ran -cli -testnet and then copy pasted what you gave me, and this is exactly what I expected. Is that this in of itself does not contain the information necessary. Like you cannot provide the specific key. What it's going to do is it's going to try to look up in your wallet what key to use. So we're going to that's where this is tricksy, is that, and the reason that the website doesn't do it in one step is because the only place that that code has ever existed, to the best of my knowledge, is in Dash Core. It's never been implemented anywhere else ever.
So
So,
this
and there's
error,
no documentation for it.
just to back up a little bit, this error
Yes.
is coming from the Dash node itself.
Yes.
You just ran -cli testnet object prepare. Normally, what this would give me back is a string of characters that's successful for me to paste into the object submit command. So you were saying before that this hex string, if you could just open your browser and like decode that hex string in a traditional, just any old hex decoder.
Yeah. So
online.
okay. And you're just going to see the JSON. There's nothing special about this at all.
I got to turn that off. It's transactions happening on testnet.
Okay, let's see.
Punch the tape.
No, that's not what I want. What I want is that, and it doesn't allow me to do hex bytes, hexadecimal. There we go. Okay, so it doesn't look like I copied all of it there. Let me try that again. I think I missed something. There we go. Okay, yeah. Let's. Oops. There we go. So, and then we can go to a JSON prettifier. And then what?
I think if you just open up your console, you're like your web dev tools, you could do that too.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there you go. So any mere mortal can see this, and it makes sense in English. Well, except for end epoch is a date representation that doesn't look like a date representation because it's represented as a number instead of a string. But other than that, URL, type 1, whatever that means, payment amount, payment address, date. That's what it looks like. So what it's asking it to do is to create a transaction, a draft of a transaction, because it doesn't actually publish it. Prepare creates a draft of a transaction and does not return the transaction. Instead, it returns a transaction ID. So you don't actually get the data that you need. So we don't get to know what that transaction looks like, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, at the very worst case scenario, what we can do is we can spin up a mainnet and do a real proposal. I actually had my proposal, my wallet open from the incubator proposal that I did submit, in case we wanted to use that to see what the transactions were on the network. And I think, what is it? It's $27 to make a network proposal.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad to hear that it's been going up.
So it's not the end of the world to make a proposal. It's just a little annoying.
For
the people.
That's fine. So right now, I'm not really sure what's going on, but it looks like my Let's see. Okay, masternode status is working. So why is this one not working? Oh, it's probably because it needs to have. Let me go look up the RPCs because I don't think the documentation is included with this. So I got to create a wallet real quick, or maybe I've got another test net instance. Let me see test. Let me see if I can get an. No, I'd probably have to sync forever. This one is sunk, has been synced, but I need to get the documentation because okay, arguments and commands, create wallet, no, RPC commands, maybe this one. So by the way, a wallet, so you know, Niles, is just a 12-word phrase. So you
Right.
yeah, like I can, if I open up another one here, I can just create a wallet like this. Dash phrase, what is it? Gen. Okay, so dash phrase gen. Boom. Now I have a wallet. That's a wallet.
Okay.
And from that you can derive essentially an infinite number of other accounts under that wallet and then an infinite number of addresses. Not truly infinite because it's a 32-bit integer, but you know how that goes. No, 32. 31 because it's signed, so 2 billion. Anyway, quick reference to RPC calls, and then I should have a create wallet. And then this should tell me what I need to add to it. So I need to have a wallet name, disable private keys. So we're going to call this foobar. Disable private keys is going to be false. Or I guess it says to do 0, but I think it also accepts false. Blank, create a blank wallet. That's going to be false. Passphrase, that's actually salt. I don't know why they call it passphrase here because it's not actually your wallet passphrase. That is your wallet's salt. It's one way that you can create truly infinite wallets from your wallet because this gets hashed in with the seed or hashed in to create the seed. Avoid reuse.
Is the seed a combination of the 12 words and the salt?
Yes. Yeah, so it's I think there's 2 or 3 different hashing algorithms that happen. One of them is PBKDF2 if I remember correctly, and then there's another hash. Okay, avoid reuse, load on startup. Okay. So all right, so 6 parameters. 1 2 3 4 5 6. And I don't know why it's not doing that. Is create wallet is still, that's not deprecated, right? Requires wallet support. Unavailable on master nodes. Okay, so I'm not sure why, but this, I didn't just do a fresh instance here. This one's been sitting around for a few months, but it
Method
is,
not found.
it's working. You can't really trust these error messages because it just says stuff a lot of the times, like somewhere in the process it gets an error and then it just spits something out, but it isn't necessarily related. It seems like what that would say is that one of 2 things. RPC happens over HTTP and it does an HTTP post. So it could be saying the post method is not found. That doesn't make sense. The other thing is that in some of the documentation, the RPC call is referred to as a method rather than an RPC. And so it could be saying that I could have misspelled create wallet. So let's just copy and paste here to make sure I didn't transpose something.
The RPC call could be referred to as a method instead of an RPC.
Yes. Yes. So that's confusing sometimes because then you're mixing semantics of HTTP and then dash. I think it comes from like the early days before they had HTTP RPCs and it was only TCP and they called it method in TCP. And then when they swapped it over to HTTP, they left it as method even though method already means something in HTTP. So yeah, I'm not quite clear on what's going wrong there. this would be easier to do.
If you scroll up, what was the command that ran successfully? Dash CLI hyphen testnet masternode status.
Yeah.
So you're contacting the network just fine, it seems like.
Oh, I know why. Because this was one of the instances where I was creating a master node. And I was just looking in my history. I didn't run this command intentionally. I just wanted to run any command that had run successfully before in my history. This is my testnet master node. Master node is not allowed to create a wallet. See?
Yeah.
Unavailable on master nodes. That's what's going on. So let me try -D2. Whoops.
So dash D1 was a master node. That okay.
Yeah, let me and I do have a reg test one that's up and working that is not a master node. So my CoinJoin 3 here.
Reg test is and that's what we may want to do. I mean, putting a proposal up on testnet is fine. That's not going to annoy anybody. Putting one up on a reg test is
even better because we can see all the logs. However, I get this problem sometimes. Let's see if it's actually running or not. So the Dashmate reg test is incredibly fickle. Like if you stop it and start it again, sometimes it doesn't start again. So let me see if this is working. Okay, that worked.
Where are you SSH'd into right now?
This is the same server I've been using for the CoinJoin, Dashjoin, CoinJoin in the browser stuff. That's what this is. Okay, but this one, because a lot of it's in Docker, you can't always use the CLI directly. But let's just try testnet and see if that works. I might have to specify the port or something. Okay, so let's do -core conf, and then let's see, we've got, I think testnet in reg test mode runs on, let me go find, I got another window where I've been working on this stuff recently. Okay. I think it runs on port 20302 for reg test, which I guess maybe I could do reg test there. Let me just try bind, RPC connect. And then I'd probably need to do all of these as well.
And before we get too much further, can you remember if you have a different testnet node running on a different server that's not a master node? Because if not, we should probably try to start one up and wait for it to sync.
I mean, that's going to take several hours, but yes. I mean, so the documentation for how to do that, super easy. Barely an inconvenience.
Let's do it.
Can you say that one more time? What's going to take hours?
The sync for the testnet. And I have here, my experience is that it typically takes 30 hours for mainnet and about 4 hours for testnet. And a certain smart buttocks had to.
Well, I think the difference is whether you're doing all the indexes or not. Wasn't that the main difference?
That's not the only difference, although I would have to run again without running the indexes. But if you don't run the indexes, then you can't do the things that we need to do for just about anything. So I don't know what the point of running it without the indexes is, but I know that a lot of indexes aren't turned on by default, but then a lot of the RPCs just won't work. I mean, you could do the G-object stuff, most likely. if
Well,
you don't
let's
turn
just
off
get it
multiple.
going just so that we can do another stream later and have it already up if we need to.
Okay, so all right, but this is it right here. You just run this command that gets you -d from the dash core GitHub, and then it will create these config files and stuff, and then you just run -hd instead of hd service install. It'd be testnet service install, and that's it. And
Okay,
then
let's do it.
you've got one. Okay, well let me go create.
Since you have your own cloud
Yeah, let's go ahead.
available.
env switch proxmox to dash. Okay. Proxmox create. We do have to use Ubuntu. We can't use Alpine. It doesn't really matter how many vCPUs you give it because it just doesn't really use them. We'll give it. We don't need to give it that much RAM. Actually, wait. I already had one of these for testnet. Proxmox create. Let me see. That's yeah, that should work.
Dash site test. That sounds like it was the test net. Yeah.
So I'll call this one test 2.
Or you could. This isn't for dash site, so maybe you could rename that.
Oh yeah, sure. What do we want to call this? Proposal.
Yeah, or Gobject or something. RPC. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
T-RPC2. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll run that. And
Are we going to be exposing anything sensitive here?
no, this doesn't. I mean, other than like IDs of the container that wouldn't normally be exposed publicly. And then yeah, so we're gonna do this one right here, and I will go ahead and edit my SSH config. Whoops, this thing would not scroll on me. I'll go ahead and in the other window edit my SSH config. It's going to print out what I need to do anyway. So
Niles, are you picking up all this stuff?
I wouldn't say all of it.
I'm just
well, this.
I don't expect you to.
Do you know how to create a droplet on DigitalOcean or a VPS in general on any service whatsoever?
That's all
I
he's
don't know
doing.
if I've done that, but
All right, so now, I've set my SSH. Oops.
So yeah, if you didn't know already, AJ has rack space in a local data center here, and that's what he's contacting here to create different nodes, right, AJ?
Yep.
Different VPSs, I should say. Sorry.
Yeah, so I've got probably, I don't know, 10 different Dash servers running right now for the different projects that I'm working on. Okay, so from here, there's a few things that are not part of the default image that will need to get updated, but I'm just going to log into the other one and then just copy the command that I most recently ran for... let's see. All right. Is that it? Let me just copy this one over here to over here. And I know we're going to need some other things. Let's see. Curl, git, fish, screen. There we go. So just DevTools. I'm just installing some DevTools on there.
I've had to do that before for sure.
Yeah, we probably will need zip, for example, because we'll probably I don't know whether it's a tarball or a zip or whatever that this is packaged in. Okay, I'll get this out of the way now. Let me get out of that one. I'll try to consolidate these a little bit so it's not so much death by many windows. All right. So basically, I just created a fresh VPS, installing the basic tools that are typically necessary. I don't think we're going to need Build Essential. That's like C++ and C compiler tools. I don't think we're actually going to need that for this process, but I had to use that on the last one for some reason, so it was in my history. So there's nothing. So yeah. Step one was create something that has 2 vCPUs. It needs to be at least 2, because if it's only 1, even though the thing is single threaded, then that means that any other task that runs anywhere can only run on that one CPU. So if you give it 2 vCPUs, that does speed you up a little bit. But yeah, a certain smart buttocks' comment is, well, you should just use a 4 gigahertz single core CPU, to which I reply,
This looks like it's got a little ways to go.
yeah, it's a little bit slower than usual. I'm not sure why that is. I'll have to check and see. Actually, I'll log in right now and see if there's some unusual network activity or what might be the cause of this taking so long. Oh, that's not good.
Looks like your command finished.
That's good. Just 1 second. All right, then I copy and paste this command, which is what installs -d. And then
what does the D stand for? -D?
Daemon.
Daemon. Okay.
And then it comes with some scripts, both for the UI and for the CLI. And so we're just going to go ahead and, oh, actually, one other thing I forgot. Let's see, did I do this? Do we have mount? We have mount storage. Okay, so we need to have, I just need to make a directory under storage that is called, I think it just needs to be called -core, if I remember correctly. And then I need to give myself permissions to that. And that's a process that has to be done manually. Shown app mount storage dashboard. Okay, and with that, and this will print out an error if that wasn't done. Okay, and with that, now I can run the testnet install, and now it's just going to take a really long time. So we could watch it if we wanted to, but it's just going to synchronize block headers and do other stuff for about 4 hours.
Okay. Well, that's in the works then.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Why does it have to go under mount?
Oh, so when you are doing virtual computers, containers, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
If you were to get the disk space you need on your root file system, then it's just going to cost you a lot of money. If you instead add a block storage volume to the container or virtual server, it costs you a lot less money.
Block
Because
storage.
the block storage meaning like your SSD
Mm-hmm.
where your files go. So block storage as opposed to object storage. Block storage, raw storage. Block storage is where your file system goes. So Linux has a different file system than Windows does, which has a different file system than Mac does. So block storage is the actual storage layer, whereas object storage is platform independent. Object storage would be, for example, S3, where it's all done over HTTP, and you have like whatever interacts with it has no sense of what the bytes are, what the disk is. It's just, hey, I want this thing by this name, and then you get this thing by this name. So object storage is for web apps, block storage is for operating systems and desktop apps, if that makes sense. And then volume block storage is you are there's like a cluster with, you know, an exabyte of storage, and you're saying, I just want a slice of that cluster, however it is you want to give it to me, and then emulate it as if it were a disk. And so when this gets that, that's how it happens. So anyway, it's, and this just looks for, the script just looks for something under mount called -core. And if it finds it, then it uses that. So that's the thing there. Anyway,
Okay, so AJ, I just dropped a link to a transaction on Insight. Can you open that up in your screen share?
yes,
On your web browser?
yes.
It's yeah. Okay, so this was a transaction that was submitted 3 days ago. This actually, Ash was having an issue with the node that he was running, and he tried to submit his proposal, his incubator proposal, and it wouldn't submit. So he was able to do the prepare, but he wasn't able to do the submit. And this transaction is, I believe, the prepare transaction for that. So if you wanted to just look at that and see what it has in its op return field.
Yeah, let's see if we can do this. All right, so there's the hex for this transaction.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's do grab a recent version of Node. And then I'm going to npm install location global -tx CLI. I don't know if I have that one published yet. No, but I do have -tx, so we'll just do this. Git clone github.com/-hive/-tx.js. Let's try. github.com. There we go. All right, -tx, and then clean install. Yes. All right, and then bin inspect. Okay. Oh, whoops, I need to make it a file. So let's call this tx1.txt. Bin inspect tx1. All right, so yeah, that looks like a hash to me.
Okay,
So,
now go back to the Insight, the web browser.
Yeah.
And then click the little plus next to under details, and then copy the op return data there.
Yeah.
And then just decode that in a hex decoder.
No, I already did. That's what I did. See? So memo, op return. So it's not decodable because it's bytes.
Try it. Go online.
No, I did.
No, I know. Try
But-
it in the web browser. I've done this before. I don't know if it's going to work, like you say, but I just want to see it not work.
Okay. All right, so we want to do no text. No, we want to do bytes, hexadecimal. There we go. And then we get rid of the op return. Binary can't be interpreted as text. See?
Okay.
I know that this works because this is how I like this. This is the tool we created. This is how we do our transactions in our wallet.
Mm-hmm.
This tool is more correct than the tools on the web.
Yeah, I know what this data shows because I've seen it, and I think it's because Ash showed me from the debug logs of the Dash core.
And the debug logs of Dash Core are going to show you the actual object. This doesn't post the object.
I understand that, but I'm going to try to find the data so that you can just look at it, and you'll
Right.
see it.
Yeah, so the question would be, where does the data go? And in order to find that out, other than by asking someone, we would need to look in Dash Core itself. So we would need to go on GitHub, go to Dash Pay, go to Dash. We would need to just download the code is the easiest way for me to do this. So I'm just going to clone the code here. And then we could look for G object. And then we're going to find thousands of references to it, apparently, which is more than I thought we would find. I was expecting dozens. Logging, G object, master node payments, master node sync, governance. This is probably the file that we will find it in. RPC governance, that sounds right. Let's see, governance object. So these are the files where we're actually going to find how this is signed. So if we just look through these files and we look for the word sign, then there's a good chance that we will find what we're looking for. I'm gonna get just the list of files real quick. So we're gonna do. Okay, so these are all the files in which GObject is referenced. And I'm going to guess that the two that are important to us are probably source governance and source governance object. And let's see if there's any source RPC governance. Probably not as important, actually. That was the one I was looking at before. But this one probably just handles the wrappers. But anyway, let's go ahead and look at object. I think that's the one I've got the highest confidence in right now. And let's look for sign. So
a lot of signal stuff.
Yeah, let's see if we could maybe cut that out. Here we go. Governance object sign. Key sign. Get hash signature. Signature. So key. Okay, so it is a BLS signature. This is what I feared. So this is doable, but it is not a typical signature like what we do with other transactions. So the governance object is BLS signing, not SEC P256K1 signing.
Okay.
So making a note of that. So we could go track down where this is defined and then see what the signature is there. And then get signature hash. This is weird to me because it's not passing it anything. So I don't know what that means. Sig 2 byte vector. All right. So get signature hash. This will probably be useful. We can find out where it's defined. Okay, serialize hash. This. Okay, so it's calling it as a method of the governance object. All right, that makes more sense now. Now I see why there was nothing signed to put in there, kind of. Are these static methods? Yeah. I don't know how to read C++. Okay, let's do the same thing as before. All right. Oh my goodness, there's a lot of those. Not sure where this one would be defined, but maybe in something called governance or object or something like that. Let's see. It's in there. Is this the only place it's in? That can't be where it's defined.
Does it have to have like a double colon before the definition?
I don't know, but let's try with a double colon. Let's go look at the file again. Okay, serialize hash. Yes, I think you're right. I think it would need to have a double colon.
And
so it looks...
Does it have to have an explicitly defined parameter? Because if it doesn't, then you might try the const after. Like, see the definition of get signature hash. If you searched for something like that, but just made it serialize hash.
Yeah.
I'm just guessing because I'm not sure if that counts as an implicit parameter in C++.
This seems so weird. Hold on, I'm going to search just in the source governance area because it seems like it's a method that's because there's no prefix on it, so it seems like it's loaded in the namespace. Well, let's take a look at BLS as well. Okay, BLS, this seems...
What? What
yeah,
is
that doesn't make any sense.
Is that actually what it looks like in the file?
Yeah, that is what it looks like in the file.
Huh.
Yeah.
I've never seen that before.
Well, you just don't know enough artists. Because CSS is or C++ is for people who need to express themselves. They must express themselves. They must. It's in the heart.
That is something.
Yeah, I don't know what to. I don't work with languages that have syntax like this. But okay, that looks like something. Anyway, this is going to be a red herring anyway, because the thing, no, we're barking up the wrong tree, because what that is just it's going to end up being a function that's basically converting it to hex or converting it to bytes, depending on what serialize means. In context, there's going to be something else in here that is going to give us
like key.sign.
Yeah. So that's what we were just looking at, and then we looked at get signature hash, and then we looked at serialize hash. But serialize hash, whatever this is, I'm guessing this is uint 256. So this is just bytes. So serializing hash is just going to be like a 2-hex function. This is what that's going to be. What we need to figure out is that's just a hash. The governance object is a hash. This is not, because this doesn't have information in it. Okay, like for example, let's go look at our JSON. So we should see something. Oh, darn. There's nothing here that really looks specific to governance. But okay, for example, we should see payment somewhere in here. Okay. Here's if payment address. So we should find payment address somewhere in here, and I'm going to guess that it's not going to be underscored like JSON, but maybe I'll be wrong. Okay, that is, yeah.
That code is so beautiful. I love that. I love the exclamation point, colon. It's like, wow.
Well, the thing is, if you can't read C++, it's because you're a bad coder, like you and me. Yeah. We just suck at programming. That's why we can't do it. Everybody knows it. Go ask in the Discord. Everybody knows it. Okay, validators, payment address. This might be good. Classes. This might parse payment schedule, super block. Um, yeah, it's like,
Can you remind me again what we're looking for?
so we are looking for where this object is ingested. Because when it goes to sign, it's signing the hash, but the G object itself is represented as a uint256, which is to say that it's represented as a hash because a uint256 is a fixed size, not a variable size. So the uint256 is going to be a BLS hash. So it could be a full SHA-256, could be a full hash of the SHA-256. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but we know, and I'll go back there so we can take a look at it again. uint 256, what is it calling it? In hash parent. Yeah. So the parent is a hash, and you can see right here, it says remove invalid votes, and the thing that G governance object remove invalid votes is, if I'm reading this correctly, the thing that it's defined on? Or is this saying that this is the thing it's returning? Okay, I might have read it wrong. This might be what the return is. Maybe they put the return in front instead of behind. Okay, so never mind. Maybe, thank you. Thank you for asking that clarifying question, because I may have been barking up the wrong tree. Because I'm looking at this, get hash, and it's, okay, so they flippy flop. They put the return value at the front and they put the type at the end. So, okay, we're not looking for that. We are, okay, let's just look for C governance object then. I was thinking that was the thisness value. I was wrong. Okay, so this right here, governance object, C governance object. I'm not sure if this is a constructor. Okay, parse JSON data. Boom. So load data.
Load data. That's a great name.
I mean, if it had to have a comment that says parse JSON data, maybe the better name would have been parse JSON. But load data is not the worst name.
I'm a bad programmer because I don't understand C++.
Yeah. So. Let's see, C governance objects. I cannot read. This does not have a return. Oh, this is a constructor.
Yeah.
This is a constructor again. And C++ can have lots of overloads, so you can have 10 constructors. And I think that's what we're looking at, is there's just different constructors. Okay, so this one would be the one that we would want. So once it's been parsed, look, Ryan, I have hurt feelings, okay? I've been personally offended because I'm a small and little human, and I am easily offended, apparently. I did not know, but I found out. I have hurt feelings, and it's not about them.
Yeah. So it's just copying the data over from other into this new object.
So the question is, and so then it's got a serialized hash. Maybe that's like an abstract function. I bet serialized hash. I bet it's an abstract function. I bet what it does is it does introspection on the object, serializes it as JSON, and then hashes it again. That would be my guess. That does not tell us where this gets published to, but that does tell us if we found serialized hash, it might tell us what function is used for hashing. Okay, let's see where we have. No, we probably shouldn't look at that. Or, okay, there's another thing I want to look at while we're here. If we can find the TX ID, Let me try this. TXID or maybe TX hash.
Oh, there you
It's
go.
not pro TX hash. That's something different. Well, actually, it might be considered a pro TX. Ryan, can you please help me remember the intricacies of a pro TX? That's a regular transaction, but just with a structure? Do pro TXs go on the blockchain, the normal blockchain, or are they governance objects?
I don't know. Generally speaking, I just know that ProTX commands are for. Yeah, let's just look up the documentation for it.
All right.
It's for like registering master nodes and updating your service, things like that.
I
That's
think
the
that
only.
they're normal transactions. I'm pretty sure. Yes, they're normal trans. I'm almost positive. Because I'm pretty sure I've used -tx to submit a pro TX.
Just go to docs.dash.org and then do the search there.
It's giving you the showing results for a different search.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll have
It
to.
was searching up proxy instead of what you typed.
So do your search here.
You thought that was going to work?
In there, yeah.
Can't even see what I'm typing.
And,
Right,
and it might
let's
you might have
test
to
this.
go to user docs or something.
I think testnet setup is going to be the one that has it. Okay. Pro TX register collateral hash.
Yeah, this is like masternode stuff. But I don't know if it's more generalized than masternode stuff.
Okay, no, this is not going to fit into a normal transaction. So I think this is one of those things where you do it's like a G object where you do the prepare, and then but this one will actually give you back the object, I think, if I remember correctly. I think this one gives you back the object rather than just the ID of the object. But I honestly, yeah, output. See, yeah. So this one actually gives you back. This is the transaction that it creates. Maybe I can't remember. I can't remember whether I have submitted ProTXs to the normal network or not. But okay, let's look for submit. Submit? No, let's look for prepare. That's what we need. Let's look for prepare. Okay, so it's not under governance, so maybe it's under RPC. Oops. Okay, so it may be that the serialization and deserialization is not handled at the G object layer, but that the RPC actually does meaningful work here. Because in a lot of instances, the RPC is just a thin wrapper to submit something over the network. But in this case, it looks like there may be business logic.
Which would be good.
Or maybe not, because this is all help stuff. Okay, never mind. No. This is just okay, G object list prepared. But we might be able to trace this back. Let's try G list prepared. Where does this get its stuff from? List prepared. Okay, so RPC was yeah. Okay, so this doesn't do anything. It's just a wrapper, and it's just submitting the request. This is client
This
code.
is the help function, right?
It's part of what builds up the yeah. It's not yeah.
Well, if you look at the function beneath that one.
Oh. Yeah, get wallet for RPC request, RPC error governance, get governance objects. Okay, so let's look for prepare then. Because we should see, if we're lucky, it'll have a little bit of business logic in it. And it will tell us what is actually being done. All right, help prepare, ensure wallet is unlocked, hash parent. What? Okay, request params 0. Let's see.
So AJ, in the docs, go to your RPC docs. You've already got them up, I think, in a different tab.
Okay.
Yeah, and then go to dash RPCs.
Which RPC do you want?
Do a in-page find for object. Yeah.
Yeah, this takes you to a separate page.
Now, I was just going to point out that the parent hash is always 0 for these kind of things.
Okay. Parent hash 0. Yeah. Okay. So
that's what you're seeing there.
All right, that makes sense. So let's see where param strikes again. The revision, the time. Wait. What?
These are the arguments, right?
Yes, these are the arguments. Yes, we're looking at the arguments. We're trying to discern how it constructs the governance object. Stir data hex. Okay, so governance object. I am a little confused there. Is that supposed to be the name of the variable? Because it looks like an invocation of a constructor.
I think that's the variable name, yeah.
So governance object is the type.
Yep.
And then this is the variable name, but it's constructing it? Wait, maybe this is...
Does it use it?
Let's see.
Yeah, it's using govobj underneath, yeah. In the log printf, it's using it. So that's the variable name.
All right. Create a new collateral transaction. Okay, collateral transactions we've done.
This is an interesting comment here.
What?
This command is dangerous because it consumes 5 dash irreversibly. And it's supposed to be 1 dash now, but yeah.
Oh. This actually makes sense as to why they don't give the object back and they just give the TX back. I bet this is from many years ago and they changed the commands so that it only gave back the TX ID, so it guaranteed that it stored the object in internal storage. This may be why it's internally stored, because then you can't lose it, because then you can list the objects that you prepared and get them exactly back in the form that they meant to be. So this is probably more than 5 years old.
So this log is the thing that I think Ash gave me. I just sent a message on Discord, if you can check that. So gobject _ prepare and -- params. Yeah.
Where am I checking on Discord?
So on our group with you and Valid Arc.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So what's your understanding of that comment there? Can you break that down for us?
Whose understanding? My
Yours.
Understanding?
Yeah.
So it's taking the inputs and it's hashing them together. And so if you let's say the time, for example, that changes every second. So if you knew, I submitted this a month ago, and you wanted to reconstruct this object and you forgot what time you used,
you'd have to write a program that loops through every second of the range that you thought you did it.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. Until you get the right hash again. So that's, but other than time, well, I don't know. Invalidate proposal. Block until synced until current change. So I don't think this is going to do anything with it. I think this is just creating. Let me go back up from the top real quick. Okay, So this, I think, is a constructor. We could probably find where this is defined, govobj, or maybe this is a constructor. I'm not familiar with syntax like this. It looks
Yeah,
like
C
this is the
governance
variable
object should be
name.
the type.
Yeah,
And it's
that
and it's calling a constructor that's going to be identified by the types of the parameters probably. So the fact that you have hash parent revision time and the
that tells
UN
us which
256
constructor.
being called. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay. And then we're checking to see if type is proposal. I'm guessing it determines that by the keys that it has or something.
The argument, yeah, it's the type, I think.
All right, so validator. It's going to check the validator. It's going to check it the object type. Okay, TX index. Where did that come from? GTX index. Where did that come from?
is that implicitly inside of the univalue object?
The fact that it's underscored with a G, I think it might mean global, or maybe it means that
No,
it's part of governance.
G is governance.
G is also global.
That part of the G. Okay, I see.
Yeah.
That's the one you're looking at.
Because I don't see anywhere where this is declared. It's just.
So it's probably inside of the univalue object, right?
Univalue?
Yeah.
Oh, this right here. Okay, sorry, I didn't understand
whatever
what you said
object
earlier.
this is being defined in, actually.
Maybe. Let's go back to this one, though. All right, so we're creating a new collateral. So maybe the constructor has a side effect that it broadcasts a transaction or stores a transaction. So we might need to go back and look at the constructor, because it says create a new collateral transaction, but I don't see anywhere where a transaction is referenced other than that GTX. And it doesn't seem like it would create a transaction because it hasn't even validated it yet. So transaction, maybe we just need to keep going down. Okay, lock the wallet. That makes sense, maybe. All right, is null, parse, collateral, sprintf, C out point. Oh, I have to go. Okay, C transaction ref, TX. Get budget system collateral. Get min collateral. So I think the TX get hash. All right, so it's creating the transaction maybe here. So this wallet function, get budget system collateral, GObject hash is probably, that's the memo, that's the op return. Get min collateral fee, that's the amount. And then out point is actually the address. So it's called out point because, this is for you, Niles, the elliptic curve, out point is the point to which you are sending the other data on the blockchain. And as things have evolved over time, at one point it was called out point. Now we call it address, but address refers to the base 58 encoded version. PK2H refers to the decoded address, and then out point may refer to the actual mathematic object, like the X and Y value or the G1 and G2 value, or however it's represented. But that right there. So this seems to be creating a collateral object, and it looks like that this object is going to be filled in. So it looks like this is a return parameter, really, because that's really common in C++, is people will put their return parameters as parameters rather than doing TX equals.
Wouldn't that have to be passed with an ampersand, though?
That would seem reasonable, but this may be a value such that that may not be necessary.
Okay.
Because its internal representation might actually be, well, its type may declare it as a pointer because it's called C transaction ref. So the type itself may be a macro or something that gives it the pointeriness already, or it could be that inside the object, its keys are pointers, and so when the pointers get updated inside of the object, the parent object that could be a duplicate but would still get the values updated. And then write governance object. This is the key one right here, I think. So write governance object is not in the governance code, it's in the wallet code. But I think that these two right here are money functions.
Okay, well, let's copy those and paste them into somewhere that we can look at again later. AJ, you might have to be getting going soon here.
Yeah,
What's
I should
the
have already
status of our testnet node? And then can we pick this up either later today or another day?
We could probably, I'm not sure yet. We could definitely pick it up another day. I don't know if we can pick it up today yet. But if somebody wants to give me a key, let's see, let me make that small and extend this out. So it is 55% done. It says.
Not bad.
But then there's going to be some indexing work that happens once it gets to 100%. So it's still going to take some time after that. But it's 55% done on the download side.
Okay.
And it's doing some indexing while it's downloading, which is why the downloading is so slow, I believe. Because it certainly could download faster.
Okay. Well, in any case, any questions? I don't know do we understand the high level goal here? I think we do. At least I hope we do. And then what is the current blocker?
So Niles can't hear right now. He said in chat. So the high level goal here is how do we create and broadcast both the transaction and the governance object? And what we have here is that the collateral transaction actually looks really good. And it looks like it actually does send the collateral transaction, which I find a little bit scary, but it looks like it sends the collateral transaction as part of prepare, which I would not expect that because it's called prepare, not submit. So that's a little confusing.
That's always confused me as well, because it's the prepare step that actually costs my wallet money. I just know that from experience.
And you do not need to send the transaction until you submit, because the only thing you need out of the transaction is the hash. And you can get the hash of the transaction without ever having sent it. So this step right here could get moved into the submit function, and it would work. There's no technical requirement for that to be there.
Okay, well, we'll save that for another day to investigate. But
yeah, so this is our starting point, and these two functions, and then we're going to need the submit as well. So in the submit, yeah, like I was saying, a lot of times there's no business logic in the RPC. It's just straight passing stuff. But in this case, the client is doing the business logic in the RPC. So this may be what we need to do. Anyway, I got to go.
All right, let's call it done there, and we'll pick this back up in another stream.
Okay.
Thanks, everyone.
I'll let you know if I can come back on this evening.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, bye.